95% of the people, which 95% of the people, they don't make it to financial freedom, to independence. They work for somebody until the day they die, or they go to the government for help, and they say, we're starving, we need help. 95%, okay, of these people, okay? And there's a lot of reasons for it. I think one of the reasons is go to the social narratives, go to school, get good grades, get education, get a good job. And there's a job like maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. That's why your parents will tell you to go to school and get a job. Because it worked back then, because inflation was like, it's not like it is now. Like it's a totally different game now. Like, you know, like people were making like $5,000 a year or something, and they were back in like the 60s. Yeah. I'm gonna bring a graph in. I'm gonna bring a graph in and show you like what that looks like. People were making like $5,000 a year, and they were balling. Like they had a white picket fence, they had their Corvette, they had 5 kids, a wife, perfectly happy. Everything was cool. And so what happens is, like every so often, the inflation cuts that number in half. So like as it raises, and like people are getting paid more. So you get 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. 40,000 a year, and then 40,000 became the like average income like 10 or 20 years ago, and then it just stayed at 40,000, and it didn't go up to. The inflation kept going, but the cost of what people were making just stayed at 40,000, so it just topped out. And then today you should be making like the average income should be like 80,000. That should be the average income.
Just to if it paralleled with the increase with inflation we did before. Yeah, but it hasn't.
It hasn't. So it stayed the same.
But inflation continues to rise, so everything costs more. The cost of living is going up, but the average, earning your wage hasn't increased. That's terrible stuff. When you kind of like put it into perspective like that and just kind of look at it, it's like, all right. But what do you do though? What do you do to change that?
What you do is you find the smartest people that you can, and you show them this, and you form a mastermind group, and you figure a way out. Because we're really all we have. I mean, there ain't nobody like gonna come in here and like give me the answer. Like you know what I mean? We have to like do it ourselves. We have to forge it ourselves. There's a lot of good stuff online, but it's not the same of like having somebody here put the plan down, mash it out with 2 people, and I have to learn the synergy quote. But like the sum of 2 parts is greater than the sum. I don't know.
Whatever it added,
gotta work that out.
that one.
Yeah. That's all it is. That's what you do. You form a mastermind group and you make it happen. Why is it so hard to form a mastermind group? Because 95% of the people are designed to fail. They don't want to fucking do this shit. They just want to fucking do what they've been told their entire life. Their parents are like, go to school. Go to school. And, even the parents aren't retiring.
That's so true.
Some of them are it's 5%. 5% of people's parents are actually retiring.
Well, no,
or less.
That couldn't make sense. Like when you're 65, that's pretty much your retirement age.
You have to build up your income to a point where you can say, okay, I can live on my income forever. You have to build up your stockpile.
So, even if you're 70 years old, like you retire, like you can't get a check from Social Security. Is that what that is?
They give you like $1,000 a month.
Yeah, you can something to survive off something.
You know how hard it is to live off $1,000 a month?
Oh no, I'm not saying
like
it was easy.
At that age with medical bills and like.
I understand it was, but I know you do get something though. You do have some kind of money come back your way. All the money that you got out of your taxes or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We can hash out the details.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, you know what I mean? Like, it does, but it doesn't. I mean, you're 20, like, you're not, this is probably the first time you've heard this shit.
Half of it, no.
Yeah. And you probably do get Social Security, but I'm not going to count on that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
no. You need to be able to survive with what you make.
Yeah. And the fact still remains that by the time I'm 65, inflation, like I'm gonna have to be making like $300,000 like at least a year, if not a month or something.
That should go. No, that'd be if you make $300,000 a month.
Yeah.
$1 million.
That's about a little over $3 million a year.
I did math. I was like, shit, you're a millionaire if you're doing that shit for sure.
Yeah.
But damn,
And I'll just
it would
wanna-
have to be that way.
Uh,
Like if inflation is...
you could probably do it with 100,000 a month. You'd be all right.
Yeah.
$1 million a year, you'd probably be all right.
This is what the time is coming to. It's in the future. This is on the way.
Yeah.
It's so
And
crazy.
you'd be a little above all right. I'll give you that too. You'll be a little above all right. Which is
something
where
that-
you want to
something
be.
If something doesn't change, that's if nothing changes, then it'll be that way. But if something, you have to just make a change within the system, like something drastic, hopefully happen before then, to where you have to be a millionaire to just be having.
A normal life.
But that's just the way it's.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the mastermind work, the mastermind group. That's how it works. Like he's like just brought it to his awareness. He's like, whoa, you know, he brings something to my awareness, like the what's it called again?
Fibonacci.
Fibonacci. You know what I mean? Wow.
It's like, wait.
You know, and there's just two of us right now. Like they say that when you have three people, like three, you build a cone shape, and when you have three, it's like an unbreakable object. It's just, and it even goes back into like the Trinity, the Son, the Father, the Holy Ghost, the power of three. When you have three minds together, it's even better. And that's just two of us. So I hope, at least that you get a little example of how that is. It's crazy, right? So that's why I say wealth is as a main focus. But the main focus before wealth, because if you're money centered and you're focused on money, you're not gonna treat people well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're gonna look at people
focus.
like
Your focus is on
So my personal focus is on the concept of greatness. And what is greatness? A lot of people can define it in a lot of ways. My personal definition is, I use the example of Michael Jordan because I don't know anything about basketball. But I know two things about Michael Jordan. I know that he got kicked off his basketball team at a young age. In high school he got kicked off the basketball team, which said he sucked, right? And then he rose to be one of the greatest players of all time. Or at least one of the,
pretty much
one of the greatest players of all time,
yeah.
right? And so those two things tells me that he started with nothing and he just practiced more. He wanted it more than everybody else. He just wanted it.
That consistency.
And the consistency over time. He practiced more than everyone else. Why would now Michael Jordan could have retired? Probably.
He did retire for. He went to play baseball. Professional baseball.
Yeah.
Came back.
He came back.
Won 3 more.
Yeah.
So it's like his why was greater than just money or even being a good basketball player. He wanted to be the best ever. You know what I'm saying? His why was enormous. That's why he achieved the feats that he did, because he was dedicated, he was consistent, and he had reasons that were greater than himself. And that's the key to success right there. You gotta have something bigger than you. It can't be all about you.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's spot on. My definition of greatness, use the example of Michael Jordan. He could have retired. He had millions of dollars, and he could have just said, "I got my millions. Why not? Why do I want to keep doing this? Like, this is so boring. Like this, it wasn't fun all the time. I mean,
there are times
you can't be like, well, I love basketball. I'm sure you do, but at one point you probably don't want to keep doing it. Yeah, at one point you probably don't like it very much. I would imagine, like Tiger Woods. You think he likes going out and hitting the golf ball every single freaking day? Like
sometimes you got me, because I used to play football. I used to play football before I dropped out of school. And, there are days where it's cold at practice or this and that. But to be great, you always change your mindset, because if you have a lazy attitude going into it or just a bad attitude, you might as well not work out that day, because you need to always go with the positive mentality. That's how you make leaps and bounds. That's how you get better.
So he could have retired early, but he kept going, and he kept going all the way to the end until he was probably just too damn old or whatever. You know what I mean?
Retire.
Yeah, and I think that what drove him is he didn't do it for himself. He never even thought about himself. He was thinking about being. He's like, I want to be the greatest of all time, and the thing that drove him to be the greatest of all time was that he knew if he became the greatest of all time, that his example would spread forever for the end of time. I don't think it was an ego-based thing, because if it was an ego-based, he would say, well, I want them to remember my name. But when you're dead, you don't give a shit if anyone remembers your name or not. It's not going to matter when you're dead, you know. So you at one point you're like, oh well, it's not gonna, it's not gonna matter to me. I'm gonna be dead. Like, why would I care if anyone remember my name? It's the purposeful life. You know what I mean? It's when you live in your life and the journey and the purpose, and saying I'm doing this and I'm suffering as an example, so that when I die, others can look at that example and the whole can grow together. You know what I mean? In the Mastermind group, that's probably going to be one of our goals, is to change the paradigm, or to show people a new paradigm. Just to set an example of greatness. You know what I mean? And and then people can look at that example and follow it. Even after we're both dead, what we start here and what we build here is gonna live on in the camera, and it's gonna so that's basically
it.
Mastermind group.
I like it.
Day one.